Grand Theft Auto 6 is the most anticipated game of 2025. In fact, I would even argue and say that it's probably the most anticipated game of the whole decade. Really, I mean, at least it's probably one of them. It's currently estimated to do about $3.2 to $3.4 billion in revenue in just its first year, with about 40 million copies sold. So, with numbers like that, it's really no surprise that a lot of other game companies are kind of holding off on announcing the release dates of their own games this year, simply because nobody wants to compete against GTA 6. But let's talk about those other game companies for a second, because I do see a lot of negativity thrown towards a lot of AAA developers these days, especially in the last 6 months or so. Specifically companies like Ubisoft off the bat. If you guys have been following the Ubisoft drama, you know what I'm talking about. Ubisoft has had a very rocky 2024. They've released bomb after bomb after bomb, and now their next big game is going to make or break them, essentially. Assassin's Creed Shadows was supposed to come out last year, and it was delayed to 2025. It was supposed to come out already in 2025, and now it's been delayed again to March 20th. And one can only assume that this is a good thing, because they're trying to polish off this game, and they're really trying to make it the best possible Assassin's Creed game that they can. However, unfortunately, some previews have just gone out for this game. I've seen some YouTubers playing it. I've seen IGN play it. And the reviews, or the previews, they're not horrible, but they're not great either. They're kind of in the middle. To me, they just look, and from what I gather from a lot of people, it just looks like another Assassin's Creed game. And you got to ask yourself, is that enough to really save Ubisoft? And because I feel like if this game does not perform up to standard for Ubisoft, they're kind of facing bankruptcy in 2025, and I won't be surprised if that's the case. Let's talk about another one of those companies, Bioware. So Bioware, again, was another company that released Dragon Age the Veilguard recently, and it was met with just negativity, a lot of negativity, well-deserved negativity, because if you're a huge Dragon Age fan and you were really excited for another Dragon Age project, this was not best representative as Dragon Age, right? So you play this game thinking it was going to be something you love, and it was not, and it was a big slap in the face to a lot of Dragon Age fans, and I think that's ultimately what it boils down to, is lack of trust, or lack of consumer trust for a lot of these companies. And a lot of these decisions come from people in these positions of power who think that they know better. These are all companies, by the way, that we grew up loving. These didn't start bad. Bethesda was never started as hated. BioWare was not started as hated. And Ubisoft even made decent games in the early 2000s and even into the mid 2010s. And what we have now is a new team of developers, a new team lead. It's a bunch of new people. It's a bunch of new ideologies. It's a bunch of new decision making that wasn't there in the past. That's why we see a lot of decisions being made into our favorite video game franchises that really don't make any sense for the consumer. Things like the fact that some games need to always be online, even though it's a single player game. I even saw recently that there was a scrapped project for a live service God of War game. I don't know who comes up with these ideas, but I guarantee you that it's not somebody who plays video games. It's somebody who's trying to make money off people who play video games. And I really do think that these companies have a chance to redeem themselves in 2025, and I hope that's the case, because there's a lot of these dwindling AAA studios that were once beloved that seem to be falling and falling and falling, and there's less and less AAA developers from old that seem to be on top of things. Which brings me to Grand Theft Auto 6. Rockstar is one of those companies that have been around for a very long time, and they are one of very few these days who actually know what they're doing. Rockstar has a very, very, very big task ahead of them in 2025, and that is to deliver the most anticipated game of 2025, Grand Theft Auto 6. And if anybody could do it, I do believe it's Rockstar. Rockstar has put a lot of effort into their products. I feel like they know their brand, they know their franchise better than anybody else. And if one company could do it, it is these guys. I've seen people kind of skeptical, hoping that there isn't a feature in this game or something that they do that screws up what makes Grand Theft Auto so great. And I don't think Rockstar is going to do something like making it less offensive or adding some kind of political correctness into the game. I don't think that they're going to do that. And let me tell you why. Grand Theft Auto has always been a very controversial series, right? That's what made it so popular, is controversy. If you look at Grand Theft Auto 3, They revolutionized the Grand Theft Auto series by making Grand Theft Auto 3. Then they revolutionized it all over again with GTA 4, and it came to a whole new era. It was brand new graphics, a whole new engine, everything looked more real, and they reinvented themselves for a whole new generation with GTA 4. And everybody thought that GTA 4 was going to be the peak of the iceberg. There's no way that they could outdo themselves after GTA 4. And in a lot of ways, they did it again with GTA 5, and I think people are kind of expecting the same thing with GTA 6. They're hoping that GTA 6 will wow them just as much as GTA 5 did, and I'm sure that they will do that because that's just what Rockstar does. They reinvent themselves every chance they get. I think they know their product more than anybody else, and there's a lot riding on Rockstar for so many different reasons. I mean, one, this is a beloved franchise. If Rockstar screws this up, they'll fall into the same path that all the other game companies have fallen into, which is distrust from the consumer and, oh my gosh, what are they going to do next? That kind of feeling. And up until this point now, I think Rockstar has a pretty good track record. I think they've released banger after banger, and I think most people are really looking forward to GTA 6 and don't have too many concerns regarding GTA 6. GTA 6 cannot fall into what all the other companies have done. It cannot become a game that is scared to be itself. It has to be offensive, it has to be violent, it has to be Grand Theft Auto. The worst case scenario I could see for GTA 6 is something like a standard edition, a deluxe edition, and then a top tier premium edition, where essentially gives you 5 days early access. And that particular edition is like extremely expensive, like $170 or something. But these editions will give you 5 days early access. I do think that most people will actually purchase that version of the game, just simply because everybody wants to play this as soon as possible. All the streamers want to play this, all the YouTubers want to play this. Everybody and anybody who's been waiting for video games to be good are waiting for GTA 6. That's just my two thoughts. Obviously, there's a lot of other AAA companies that are still in the running for like great AAA companies that have been around for a very long time. But that's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure Grand Theft Auto 6 is in great hands with Rockstar at the end of the day. But what do you guys think? Is there anything about GTA 6 that you're concerned about? Anything that you're thinking about that makes you go, Let me know down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one.